Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for participating in this session. So myself, Devi Kandasamy, I am currently working as a technical lead with Cubotica. I have over 11 years of IT experience with almost 6 to 7 years of expertise with RPA. And my journey with UiPath has been remarkable. So I have worked with various products of UiPath, and I am proud to be a two-time UiPath MVP. And last year, I had the privilege of being part of the winning team, Cubotica, for the UiPath Hackathon under Agentic Automation category. So I'm passionate about automation, exploring new technologies, and contribute to the RPA community. And that's about me. And so I'm really excited to take you all through the Gen AI features and the active learning capabilities within UiPath Document Understanding. So this is the today's agenda. And before we start knowing about document understanding and generative features, let's talk about documents. So, the document processing is a crucial part of many business workflows because it always comes with several challenges because of the high volume and variation in formats. So, what does UiPath Document Understanding brings us? So, it has the combined ability of RPA, AI, and it has human in the loop validation to achieve an enterprise level end-to-end automation. So when we generally talk about documents, it mainly comes across these three layouts. So it could be structured documents where it is the field positions or in fixed format, and forms, passports, licenses could come under that format. When we talk about semi-structured documents, they contain some layout, but it has some variations in the field positions. And documents such as invoices, receipts, purchase orders would fall under semi-structured documents category. When we talk about unstructured documents, they are free-form documents without any layout, and documents such as contracts, agreements, and email scripts fall under this category. And thus, the document understanding with UiPath is a powerful solution that enables automation of document understanding. So it helps businesses extract and interpret information from various document types, such as invoices, purchase orders, and it can also handle multiple languages. And it is capable of reading handwritten text and also signatures and formats such as checkboxes and tables. And as you see, the middle part is the most difficult part with document processing. So the first part is digitizing the document where the document is read and the digitized text is extracted. And the next part is the classification part where a document is classified into different document types. And the third part is the extraction part where each of the data points are extracted. And then we have human in the loop to handle any exceptions to validate the extracted information. And UiPath has built-in specialized AI models, and it has capability to connect with generative AI to achieve this end-to-end automation. And it can provide you an output of documents in the form of data points, which could be served as an input to any systems, or it could drive other actions. So that's about document understanding. Now let's move on to Gen AI features. So what is a Gen AI? So Gen AIs are large language models that are trained with very large amount of data, and it is designed to understand and respond to prompts and it will provide the output either in the form of complete sentences or paragraphs, like human-like manner. So there are various capabilities of Gen AI within document understanding. So the first one we are going to see is the generative annotation. So this capability is primarily present at the annotation process of the document in the build step. So when you're going to train a model, you create a project in document understanding, and then you upload the documents. The documents then are classified and categorized into their respective document type. Once that is done, the documents are pre-annotated automatically and by the schema defined in the document type itself. So this has a combination of generative AI as well as specialized AI models to perform this pre-annotation. So by doing so, you can speed the training of model uh, from weeks to days. And this is one such sample. I can show you how annotation works. So this is a modern project I created in document understanding, and we have one document type as invoice here. So I'm going to upload some samples here. Let me go to invoices samples, and I'm going to pick some invoice samples here. And while doing so, the modern project has automatic classification, which we will see later. So once the document is classified, you see that the pre-annotation will start. So it starts processing the document to understand and map it to the defined schema. And we uploaded 3 documents and all 3 are here. And I'm going to the annotation page to show you how it looks like. So these are some documents that are already confirmed on the annotation. So they are marked with the green shield. So the documents that didn't undergo annotation confirmation will not have any shield. And we see the pre-annotated fields are marked as underlined text within the document. So Gen AI, in combination with specialized AI model, identified the field values and provide you the suggestions as pre-annotations here. So you can perform any of the 4 operations here. For example, if you think that this pre-annotated text is valid, you can confirm that by clicking on this checkbox. Or you can also do the shortcut by means of the shortcut key provided here. So if you press on B, then it confirms that particular field. If the pre-annotated field is incorrect, you can select a new value and then mark it across the field and then confirm it here by marking this checkbox. If the pre-annotated field is incorrect and is missing in the document, you can mark it as missing by going and clicking on it here. If there is no pre-annotation for that particular field and if it is still missing in the document, like for example, the purchase order, you can just confirm this and by default, it will mark it as missing. So thus pre-annotation will help you out in completing the annotation or labeling of all the fields without without doing much effort. Let's move on to the next Gen AI feature, which is generative classifier. So, when do we perform classification? So, if a project is dealing with one or more document types, sorry, with two or more document types, and if the input file sometimes contains a combination of two or more document types, then we go for classification. And UiPath does provide various classifiers to support this. So we have a keyword-based classifier, we have intelligent keyword-based classifier, we have machine learning classifier, and then we have generative AI classifier. So when do we go for keyword-based classifier? Like if your project contains only one document type, and if it contains evidence related to the document type in the first 3 pages of the file, then you can go for keyword-based classifier. If your document type contains if your document contains more than one type in a single file, then you can go for intelligent keyword classifier because it has the capability of splitting the document into multiple document types across page ranges. And we have this machine learning classifier where you can use it to classify documents with different document types and no splitting is needed. And we can have generative AI classifier if your documents are highly unstructured and it contains a diversified content that there is only minimal differentiation between two different document types, then we can go for Gen AI classifier. So how does it work? You can clearly describe the type of the document by providing a sentence or definition of the document in the generative prompt. So the Gen AI feature can understand that and provide you the result of what document type it is. So you don't need to write rules to define what document type it is, or you don't need to train any new ML models. All you have to do is provide the prompt, just one line of sentence like what the document is. That's it. So generative classifier can provide you the output. And the next part is the extractor. So when we talk about extractor, what does it do? Like it helps to extract the specific information or data points from a document type. And UiPath has various types of extractors. So we have a regex extractor, which can be used for simple use cases where the data is in a predictable format. And we have form extractor. If your document have little to no variation with a definite layout, you can go for form extractor. And then we have ML extractor for structured and semi-structured documents in which the layouts provides differentiation. But we have a trained ML model for each of these document types. Uh, for almost 40 known document types. And we can use that to leverage and extract the data fields needed. And this ML extractor could be trained and it could be retrained. When we talk about generative AI extractor, where it could be applied if your document is highly unstructured, or if you don't find any ML trained model for your document type, then you can go for generative AI extractor. So it summarizes, if you answer questions by providing is an input prompt, it can provide you the result. So for example, we have some field names mentioned here like receipt name, vendor address, phone number, tax amount. So for all these fields, you can just provide what is really expected, like provide the receipt name, provide the vendor address, provide the phone number. You can also specify the format of the output that you are expecting. Like if we are expecting a 9-digit phone number, you can mention that in the prompt. And if you have any limited options that you want as output, like yes or no, or any value, specific amount of value that you are expecting, then you can mention that here in the prompt that will be provided as an output. And by doing so, you don't need to train any custom ML model, which would take weeks of time to do it. So with Generative Extractor, you can establish this within a few days. And we do have some limitations here, like you cannot extract output as a table format, but then you can achieve that by various means. So for example, if you have invoices with line items and you want to use Generative Extractor to get that output, we can do so by extracting only the columns of a particular column by means of list, or you can ask the prompt to provide the entire line item details in an JSON array, and you can restructure it always in your workflows. So thus, we have a generative AI extractor, which helps you to provide extraction output even for unstructured documents. And next we have generative validation. So this plays a major role during the validation process. So it is used after the extraction step to validate the confidence score for the extraction made using the specialized models. So it leverages both generative AI and specialized AI and make sure that whatever the output created is validated and provide you with high accuracy. Say, for example, when you are extracting output for a particular field, and if the confidence is low for that particular field, generative validation would cross-check the output. And if it sees that the output of generative validation matches with specialized AI, then it boosts the confidence of that particular field. Thereby, it avoids going to the human for validation. So thus, by doing so, it reduces the number of documents going for validation for human. And not only that, it also improves the accuracy of the model and by doing cross verification of the output using generative AI. Now, let me show you a demo. So this is a project created with DU framework. And I have set the flag for always validate extraction as true to show you the demo. And in the classification part, I have used generative classifier. And if we want to check on the prompts, I have mentioned 4 document types, and each of these prompts define what that document type it is. And by doing so, Gen AI could identify the document type and then it can provide you the result. In the extraction part, I have added machine learning extractor, and I have configured the extractor to do only the machine learning for invoice document, as my input is invoice document currently. And I haven't done any auto validation yet. So I'm going to show the output, and I have provided the invoice document as input. And this is the validation station shown for the extraction part. So we have all the fields extracted by the specialized AI model. And I'm sure that this is not a good example, but in real-time scenario, you might be seeing some fields that might be of low confidence. So for now, I'm taking this field as an example where we are extracting the name, which is vendor name, and it has extracted as company name here, and it has a confidence of 93%. So for the sample, I have made always validate extraction as true. But if in case you have it as false, and if you have a confidence threshold set to make it for a human validation like 95%, then this would come definitely for the action center for human validation. So now I'm going to show you how generative validation could help you avoid more human in the loop action. So at the data extraction scope, you can toggle this apply auto validation. And I have set the auto validation confidence threshold as 99%. So if the output of the specialized AI model confidence is less than 99%, then generative AI would validate that field again. And if it matches the same output, then it would boost the confidence score to 99%. I'm going to run this and show you how it happens. So right now the project is running and it's compiling. And post compilation, it would start executing the steps in DU one by one. So the first step is in DU framework is to read the config file, and one which some of the configurations would be set in the asset, like the API key and also the assets related to configurations like always validate extraction kind of thing. And once that is done, it will go for series of steps like extracting the taxonomy and then digitizing the document. And post digitization, it would perform the classification. And post classification, it would perform the extraction part and then it would go for validation. So let me see. So right now the project is initiated. It has read the config file and the digitization has started. And post digitization, it would go for classification in identifying the document type. And as we have invoice, it should identify it invoice. So we have provided generative AI prompts to identify the document type. And post classification, it would perform extraction. And with the extraction, as we have specialized AI model for invoice, it would start extracting using that, and then it perform the generative validation as a secondary step to validate the extracted output. And then it will show you the validation center. And here we go. So it's popping up. So as we see in the previous run, we have the company name was having low confidence, which is of 93%. Now, as we have enabled generative validation, the confidence score of that field was boosted to 99%. So if you have the confidence cutoff for validation as 95%, then this will not come to the action center for validation. So that's this generative validation not only saves the uh, number of documents sent for human validation, but also it improves the performance of the model. Let me quickly go back to the slide. So this is one such study made by UiPath, where if you have a document which takes 6 minutes to process it manually, and if you have 1 million docs, then it will amount to these many hours. But if only 50% of documents is sent for human validation using um, specialized AI model or any of rule-based extractor, then it would take 91% reduction of hours. But if you add generative validation on top of it to the specialized AI model, then it would reduce the effort taken by 96%. So by this, we have come to this end of DU generative features. Now let's move on to active learning.
Hey, Devi, before you do that, do you want to answer the questions we've gotten so far?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first one was from Raja. Do we first need to pick a base OOB model?
Base OOB model is present for within specialized AI, right? So we can use ML training for that, ML based model extracted for that. But on top of it, if you want to go for unstructured documents or models that is not available in the out of the box, or document types that is not available in the out of the box models, then you can go for generative AI extractor. So in the previous demo, I have showed generative extractor as a validation point, but you can also use generative extractor only for extraction, even without using specialized AI model there.
Okay. And then I see Chris answered part of it too. It said like a invoice model. Let's see what else is we have here. Chris, thanks for helping. Is there anything, Chris, you think that we need clarification on or anything?
I think a good question, Diana and Debbie. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Yeah, great, Chris.
On there is going to be the changes in AI Center. I think is a good thing to address.
Okay.
Sorry.
There's the old way we did AI Center, and AI Center is changing where we're moving
Yeah.
all that. So I think that'd be good to address because that's going to be a change that's coming up.
Oh, okay, yeah. So with AI Center, right? So previously with AI Center, we have slower model development and there is no model training guidance available. But with active learning, with modern projects, we have faster model training. So we would cover that in the active learning part.
Great. So I think we're good to go then.
Okay, so what is active learning? So it is a next generation AI powered model training experience. So it is an iterative process between annotators and model. So that would minimize the amount of data needed to train a machine learning model. So in previous AI center based projects, we used to create a project and that was only for specific document type, and then we create a package from out of the box model, and then we start inputting data sets and we create a pipeline, and then we train the model and we wait till the model training is complete to evaluate the performance of it. But with active learning, we could reduce the gap that takes between the model training and evaluation, and thus it provides almost 80% faster model training, and it also provides you a fully guided experience. It doesn't need any coded knowledge, or it doesn't need any ML knowledge required. And we don't need huge samples to do this, so reduction of samples required. And it also provides you an analytics, which is built-in analytics provided by the uh, active learning experience. And so thus active learning modern experience is a concept with train smarter, not harder. And it has 4 main stages. So the first one is the build stage. So what do we do in the build stage is we load the samples, and then we see that the samples getting classified into different document types. And once classification is complete, then it performs the pre-annotation one. And after pre-annotation, all you just need to confirm the annotation. And once you start confirming the annotations for almost 10% of the documents or 10% of fields, then you would see that the model starts training by itself. And the next step is the measure, where you could understand the model performance. Here you can see different metrics provided for classification as well as for the extraction part. And then we have publish, where you can deploy the model as a project and you can use it across your workflows. And then we have monitor, where you can see complete analytics of the model performance in production. Let me show you the demo of it. So this active learning is available with the modern projects of document understanding. So when you are creating a project, if you choose modern and you provide a name for it, and we can add a document type, or you can leave it as such. If you just browse the files, I'm going to upload some files here. You see that it starts with the automatic classification. And once the classification is done, it would define the document type as known by the schema. So it creates the invoices document type, and it understands that all these documents fall under invoices. So it has pushed all the documents to invoices. And then it will start with the pre-annotation part. So when we see this, you can also add document type manually, and you have also options to see the document type manager, where you have a list of fields defined with the type. You can remove fields that is not needed for your use case, or you can modify or add new fields as needed. So we have add new field button here. You can delete the fields if it is not needed. And in the settings tab, you could see the base model which is used to create this. So it identifies the invoices as the base model, and it also identifies the number of languages as well. So thus it does the automatic classification. And after classification is the annotation part. I'm going for that. You see that the pre-annotations were already started, and the field values were underlined with colored coded text, and we can confirm each field value either by clicking on their corresponding checkboxes, or you can just mark the confirm button for the entire fields at the bottom of the document. So if you start confirm, you see that all the underlined text becomes highlighted text of that particular color, which means that the pre-annotations are all confirmed. And you also see that there is a green shield icon marked here, which means that this document is confirmed. And similarly, we can do so for other documents. And you see here the training is not started yet. But once we start confirming more and more documents, the training would automatically start. And during training, it will understand the field values that were confirmed, and it is getting applied for further documents with the pre-annotation part. So right now I'm confirming this. And you see that I'm yet to do confirmation for one more document, but the training is already started. And we have the measured part where it will provide you metrics once the training is complete with a percentage score. I can show you how it will look like in one other project which I have already created. So this is similar project which I created with invoice samples, and in the measure tab you could see the factor that decides the extraction score. So it is of 69 percentage average, and it also provide you recommendations to improve the model performance. So it says that the trained model performance is excellent, and there are some underperforming fields, but still it is of 87 percentage good. And we have annotated almost 12 pages, and it requires some more documents to be added. And we have the data set here, dataset metrics, where it shows how many pages were labeled already, how many total pages were uploaded. And we have this metrics, which is at field level, and you could see the accuracy of every field. And if some fields is not necessary, you can always remove that from the document type. But if you see that some fields need improvement, you can start uploading documents related to that field, having that field, and confirming more and more annotations would improve the performance of the model. And then next we have the Publish tab. So once you see that the model is ready to go, so you can go to the Publish tab and then create the project version. By doing so, it will freeze that particular model version for you to use it across the workflow for document processing. So when you create the document project version, you can provide the name, you can provide the description, and you mention the models to include. Right now we have only invoices, but in case if you have uploaded multiple document types, then you can select which document type that you want, and that will be available within this project version. And once you deploy that project version, then you can tag that project as either as a staging one or as a production one. So for example, I'm going to give that as project 2, and I'm tagging creating that with invoice model, and post creation, I'm clicking on deploying, and then I'm tagging it as staging or production version. So I'm just making it as production version and clicking on save. So thus we have deployed this version, and you can use this version immediately by using API. So we have a REST API document available here. You can go through it, or you can use it directly from Studio Web or from Studio Desktop. So if you click on this icon, then it would automatically create you a project with Studio Web using this model, and it also create you a storage bucket from which it fits the input. So right now the designer is loading, and you can see that you would get a ready to run project with just click of a button. Sorry, it just redirected to me for authentication. Let me One second. So from Studio Web, I can show you the project that's already created. So you see that we get a fully functional workflow created by just click of a button. So it creates a storage bucket by itself with the directory, and it will have one sample file as input. And within each sample, so what it will do is it will download the sample and then it will extract the document. And as we don't have multiple document types within that project, it didn't do the classification step. But if we have multiple document types, then it will have the classification also defined in the DU project, and it will also have the classifier mentioned here. And if we expand this, you see that it's using the demo project 2 as the input, and we have the extractor defined here, and it also has the validation part, so which it goes post extraction, and then it would write the extractor data. So thus it, by just click of a button, we could get the complete workflow, and we could also test run it. I'm not sure like why I'm hitting. Okay, so here we go. So it started processing the document, and it will do the extraction part, and post extraction you could see that it will push it to the action center for validation. And I can open the action center. And in Action Center, you can see that a task getting created, and post validation of that, you could see the extraction result in the Studio Web project. So this is the document that came in just now, and I'm assigning it to self. And you see that we have the extraction done here, and I'm just click on submit, and it's asking me to validate the line items. Continue and save, and then submit. So thus we could perform end-to-end automation within few days using this active learning capabilities of UiPath. And the last part is showing the metrics dashboard. Let me go back to the project again. So in the monitor page, you can check the AI consumption as well as the performance of the project, where you could define the project success matrix and you can evaluate that. And you can also see the documents that were processed by this model. So how many documents were inputted and when was it validated. So thus with active learning, we could achieve faster model training, and it decreases the number of samples required, and you could easily keep track of the model accuracy, and you could ensure effective training of results with that. So by this, we are coming to the end of session. Do we have any questions?
Hey, I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you are doing the training for the model and you publish the model, right?
Mhm.
In the studio, what activity we can use to check the classification or extraction? Because from what I heard, the ML extractor and classifier won't be compatible with the new DU modern. So is that the same activity you will be using it?
Yes, we can use the same activity for ML extractor. Yes.
Because when you go in the studio and pick the ML classifier or extractor, you get the option to pick the ML skill, right? That is
Yep.
not something available in the way when you are training the model. That's in the AI center. So
Yeah, so in the new, we added additional kind of extractors for classification and extraction into the intelligent OCR activities. So if you search
Yeah.
under like project there, you'll see one for classification for modern and then also one for extraction. So this is kind of maybe more recent, but the activities are added. There they are right there, yeah. So project
which one?
classifier. Yep.
Oh,
Document
project.
understanding
Okay.
project classifier would be for modern, and then there's one for extraction as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, are there any other questions? I think we had quite a bit of help with answering questions today, Debbie,
Okay.
which is great. Thank you all for jumping in.
Yep. And these are the upcoming events with Women in Automation. Feel free to register.
Yeah, that'd be great. We have some great sessions coming up, so especially around agentic and careers and that type of thing. So appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah. Any last minute questions? Anybody? Okay. Well, I want you to thank you all for joining today. And Debbie, that was an amazing job. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow at our next session. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.